Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is John Campea, and this is a special video based on a user-submitted topic. Now, you see, every day on the John Campea Show, Monday through Friday, people send in live questions using tips and super chats and stuff like that. And every once in a while, somebody will send in like a really big batch of support, like with $50 or more. And when they do, I like to honor that by answering those questions in their own standalone video. And that's what we're doing right now. And this one comes to us from Daniel. And Daniel writes, "Hey John, love the show. Thank you so much, Daniel. With Avengers Endgame concluding the Infinity Saga, I went back and watched all 4 Avengers films, and it got me thinking, which leads to my question. Who do you think handled the Avengers better? Joss Whedon or the Russo brothers?" All right, man, thanks a lot for sending that in. And it's a really interesting question to ask because as of right now, there are 4 Avengers movies. We, of course, got the original Avengers, which, full disclosure, I actually still think is the best comic book movie ever made for many different reasons. But then we've got Age of Ultron, and then we've got the 2 Russo brother films in Infinity War and Endgame, which are both spectacular. One of them is the biggest box office film of all time. A lot of victory in those 4 Avengers films. But here's why the question is also a little bit tricky. Because in asking who did it better, Joss Whedon and the Russo brothers, it's not like comparing apples to apples. Now, look, if the Avengers had been a franchise that had been around for 30 years and we'd had like 15 Avengers films, and it just so happens that Joss Whedon did a couple and that the Russo brothers did a couple, then it's a little easier to compare them. But the fact of the matter is, we only have 4 Avengers films, but we only have 4 Avengers films, right? And the Russos and Whedon both served very different purposes. Joss Whedon's purpose was to come in and actually establish what an Avengers movie would be. And I've always made the argument that even though there were a couple of MCU movies before the Avengers, it was the Avengers movie, that first Avengers movie, that kind of established what the DNA was of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It was that movie that brought all these heroes together into one place at one time, that established what is our template going to be for how these characters interact with each other, how they develop together, and really give us a feeling of what an MCU movie is. And that was very different of a task than what the Russos brothers' task was, which was they needed to come in and build upon what was established before. And to take all that groundwork, all that, foundational work that was done, that DNA, that pattern set, that template established, blah, 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 and now build on top of that and to continue going from there. And the Russo brothers and Whedon both did an incredible job with what their 2 respective responsibilities were. So understanding it is difficult to compare them, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this. I'm going to say that I think Whedon handled it better. And that's not saying that I don't think the Russo brothers didn't do a spectacular job. Clearly they did. #1 box office movie in the world of all time. They did a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful job. For me personally as a fan, it comes down to this. If Whedon's work wasn't there, the Russo brothers' work wouldn't exist. If Whedon doesn't establish the MCU on such an amazing footing and make that movie the success that it was, not just financially, but with the fans and all that kind of stuff, then there is no Avengers Infinity War, and there is no Avengers Endgame. The Russo brothers had a monumental task with their 2 films, absolutely, and they executed it brilliantly, but I would say that what they were doing was still building on the work that Whedon did, and without Whedon's work there is no Infinity War. Without Whedon's work there is no Endgame. So that's just kind of the way I kind of look at it. So I have massive appreciation and admiration for the job that both Joss Whedon and the Russo brothers did. But me personally, since you're asking me, I'm going to say the more important one out of the 2 was Joss Whedon. But that's just my take on it, guys. Question is, how do you feel about it? I'm sure some of you agree with me. I'm sure some of you disagree. And that's the fun thing about being film fans. But how would you answer that question? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. That will do it for this video, guys. My name is John Campea, and until next time, bye-bye.